I travelled the world for a whole 1 year during my career break. Guess how much I spent? I travelled to South America for a few months, North America, back to Europe, Switzerland for a few weeks, Southeast Asia for 3 to 4 months, Australia, New Zealand and Japan. Pretty much around the whole world. Guess how much I spent? 100 grand, 75 grand, 50 grand? Around $30,000. So just over £25,000, I think. Now, most people will think that's extraordinarily low. And I was in the same camp as well, because when I was in my 12-year tech corporate career, earning loads of money, I would easily go away, just like we all do, to Europe and spend a good 5 grand on a week in Ibiza or Marbella, or whatever it might be. And so I used to think, how on earth do people travel for so long without working? And the reason why I wanted to make this video is just a few reasons. First of all is just to let you know that you don't have to spend an exorbitant amount of money to travel, explore experiences, etc. Now, yes, of course, you have to compromise. And the biggest way I compromised was staying in hostels. Now, a dorm bed in a hostel is $5 to $15 on average per night, which is incredibly cheap, right? You know, considering if you go to Europe, you can't find a hotel for less than 100 quid a night. And so that is by far the biggest saving. You know, being able to spend, say, $10 on average a night for accommodation is incredibly cheap. Now, excuse me, I want to change my hand. Now, of course you have to make compromises, you're staying in a dorm. And this is another reason why I wanted to create the video, is to highlight just trying new things. I would never have dreamed at the age of 32 that I would want to stay in a dorm room with 3, 5, 7 other people, right? But it turned out to be the best part of traveling, because you're constantly meeting new people, you're getting out of your comfort zone. Those are the two main reasons. It's also fun, and again, it's just a cheap way to travel. And so that's one way. Obviously you can save cost. Another way is obviously just the places that you go to, right? I mean, South America can be very, very cheap. Southeast Asia is, of course, incredibly cheap. I know people that have traveled for a whole year in just Southeast Asia and spent $10,000, because hostels are like $5 a night, like incredibly cheap. And then obviously to get from one country to the next, either by plane or ferry, is not very expensive at all. So that's the first reason why I wanted to create this video, just to let you know that you can do cool stuff without spending an exorbitant amount of money. And what was the other reason? Second reason was the good old balance of, or the good old saying that money doesn't buy you happiness. Now, majority of my life have been blessed to live a very privileged lifestyle. And again, I was earning a lot of money in my tech corporate career over the span of well over a decade. Earning loads of money, house, fancy stuff. And then I decided to try and strip back, and sold my house, sold everything that I had pretty much, other than a few suitcases of clothes. And the only valuables I had was my phone, my laptop, my wallet and my passport. And that's really an exhilarating feeling, to experience something where you don't have a lot for the first time. And I was trying to budget. Like I said, I was staying in these hostels when I could have afforded to stay at an Airbnb most nights for $50 to $100. But I wanted to try something different, try and experience something different, and I guess live on a budget for once in my life. Again, this is me being really, really transparent here. And I realized just how kind of freeing it was, you know, having no bills to pay, just having a few valuables on you at all times, and essentially not having the materials that we all think that we crave, and I craved for well over a decade. And without rambling on too much, the experience was just so enjoyable, and it really made me realize that experience is much more valuable than materials. Now, what I am going to say is, I'm not saying that materials aren't valuable. I still look at watches most weeks, seeing what my next purchase is. I still want to stay in nice hotels. I still want to travel business class. I still want to earn loads of money, because money doesn't necessarily buy you happiness, but it buys you freedom. It buys you peace of mind. It buys you nice things, which is of course nice to treat yourself. And so if we can live with the balance of not always needing the best, not always needing that next material things, and understanding the value of an experience over a material thing, is an incredibly powerful and liberating place to be in life. Because we're not always chasing materials, and we know that we can have fun if we put our ego at the side. We don't need to stay in this fancy hotel to show it off to Instagram or anything like that. We can stay in a more rundown place, an experience that doesn't cost a lot of money. Like I said, so just to wrap this up, you know, that year traveling where I spent $30,000, which I thought would cost me like over 100 grand, just from what I'd been conditioned to before with spending so much money and how much money I was earning, etc., was just an eye-opener. And so, yeah, those are the two main reasons why I wanted to create this video, just to, one, let you know that you can have fun without spending loads of money, and then second, I guess the counter argument of that is money is obviously so nice, and it buys you freedom, it buys you comfort, etc., and we should also strive to that, because it does make us feel good and it's lovely to treat yourself, but then also knowing the value of an experience. So yeah, a little different kind of video, walking, rambling, but I hope that was useful. I hope it was a bit of an insight into, I don't know, trying new things, just having a different perspective on things, having a different mindset. And hey, this is all, actually, you know what, I'm going to stop the video here because I'm just going to start rambling. So there we go. Hope that was useful. Any thoughts, comments, leave them below.